My name is Brooke Armstrong, and today I'm going to be talking about Corrie ten Boom. Corrie ten Boom was an incredible warrior for God. Her intense faith and trust inspired many and helped her overcome many awful experiences. Today I want to talk more about her life, her time spent in prison, and her ministry afterwards. Corrie ten Boom was born on April 13th, 1892. She was the youngest of 4 children. The 2 siblings that are most involved in her future story that I'll be talking about later are Betsy and Willem, and also her father Casper. They were all watchmakers. Corrie was actually the first licensed female watchmaker in Holland. Her grandfather had started the company, and they lived above it in this little apartment here. Here's a picture of Corrie herself when she was in her mid-30s, about when she received her watchmaker's license. So using the watch shop as a cover, they had frequent visitors in and out all the time from actual customers, and later on when the Nazis invaded the Netherlands, it had become a safe house for the Jews themselves and other Dutch sympathists, part of the underground movement. So the first Jew to be hidden above in their little apartment, there was a wall inside of Corrie's bedroom that was fake, and it could be moved, and she became the ringleader of the Bijou group, as it was known, and she procured ration cards and helped over 800 people come to safety. Well, one of their so-called friends betrayed them in 1944, and the Nazis came in and tried to find the hiding place. There was actually 6 people in it at the time, but they were unsuccessful. But they still arrested Betsy and her sister and brother. Her brother died a few months after being arrested, and her father died about 10 days afterwards. Corrie and her sister spent over 10 months in 3 different prisons. They would spend time sharing the gospel and leading worship and singing with the women, and many of them became Christians. This is Betsy's father, Casper, and their brother, Willem, and this is Betsy herself. You see the picture? Corrie was released about 12 days after Betsy's death. There was some sort of clerical error, and they somehow misunderstood when her sentence was supposed to be up, and coincidentally enough, the women that were also in her room, the same area that she was in prison, were executed a few days after her release. So God miraculously saved her life, and she was able to be released and go into freedom. She then went on to write a book called The Hiding Place, and she started a rehab center for all the post-war victims, whether Jews or Dutch, and she also had a mental health focus where she would go to over 60 different countries the next 33 years of her life, and she would speak about all of her trials that she went through and how God helped her come through them. This is a picture here of her book that she wrote, and one of my favorite stories about Corrie is when she had been speaking in Germany to a large group of people, and she noticed a man in the far back corner that had been a guard at one of the prisons where she had served time at, one of the Ravensbrück guards. And she knew that he didn't recognize her, but in her heart she instantly remembered seeing him there in his uniform. And afterwards he came up to her and he said that he had been a guard at Ravensbrück, which she had known, and he apologized to her, even though he had no clue who she even was. And she knew in her heart that she did not want to forgive him because of all the horrible things that he and his fellow co-workers had done to them and her and her sister and all the other innocent women. But she reached her hand out and said, "I forgive you." And just the fact that she could forgive someone who was a part of such a hard time in her life was always very inspirational to me. She died on April 15th, 1953, which was actually her birthday, which is very cool. And not many people die on the same day that they're born. But trying to talk about this amazing woman and her incredible life in just a few short minutes, and her overflowing love for even the people that were responsible for her suffering is very hard. She's such an inspiration to me, reading her books, listening to her talks, and learning more about her life. She has always emphasized the importance of prayer and the power of love. And another one of my favorite quotes from her is, "There is no pit so deep that God's love is not deeper still." And her life and ministry and testimony live on today, and they're a testament of how the love of God can ripple on even after the death of one of his children.